Hi everyone. Today is Thursday, May 6th, and I'll be going over my recap for today. So today I ended the day down $1,164 between my two brokers. And today I reopened a lot of bad habits that I did when I started trading. And today is, I want to kind of reiterate that this is probably not the way you want to trade and you want to avoid. Let's start from the top here. And I broke a few rules. One rule is not following my strategy, which you can see that these are not my typical trades that I take. Normally, when you see my trades, it's really like an in and out type move. Here you can see I'm like in and out a couple of times. So that is one mistake that I made is not following my strategy. And two, I'm attacking the same stocks over and over again. Although I took one loss, two loss here and there, I kept going, and that in terms get you chopped up and eventually get you a bigger loss and a bigger loss. So let's start from the top on my Thinkorswim. So first trade was BSQR. So this trade was all right. It's normal strategy. So you can see a nice little flag. Had a fail flag here. It was quite a bit extended, but I went ahead and tried it. Anyways, I had a bad fill here. I think the initial move was around 285 or so. I got a bad fill at 289 due to the spread. But you can see the fail flag. After the fail flag, got an inverted cup and handle, and that was a potential short. But yeah, I took a long here and just stopped out when it had a fill. So that was a normal trade. Nothing wrong with that. Take a stop loss, and that was on BSQR. Next trade is HL. So just in the morning, I was actually doing fine, and I was actually up 300 in the morning, or the first half of the day. The later half of the day, that's where I ended up taking 3-4 big losses, which created the big loss for today. So my next trade was on HL. So this was also in the morning. I took a loss here of $72, and I saw a 5-minute trend holding and a potential inverted cup and handle forming. But I went in a little bit too early there. Didn't exactly break any form of cup and handle, so I had to stop out there for a $72 loss when it was breaking above these highs. So you can see little inverted cup and handle. Had to stop there for a $72 loss. Next trade was UXIN. So UXIN had the right idea, just not the right timing. 281 was the spot to go long. Went long slightly early, and it was during this initial flag break here. So you can see it broke the flag there off these this trend line, and it kind of fell. Had a little spike in volume, but I think the 281 was the spot that it needed to clear. It broke here, held a higher low, and then you can see it went higher from there. So that was a good idea. Just wasn't the best execution. I took a long here for thinking this might have been the break here, and then a second one here. So I kind of gave up on this once this fail flag fell. But the spot was when the 281 broke. That's where the breakout happened. But I took two losses here, and I kind of move on from there. But eventually it did break out of the 281 for a little squeeze there for $86 loss. Hey Davis, how are you? So next trade is IBIO. So IBIO, very disappointing trade. As you can see, this is not part of my strategies. And this is how I traded when I first started trading, and that's how I lost money when I started trading. So this is not the way to trade. And in this recap video, it's probably the don't do's and things to avoid. But I pretty much traded this on both my accounts. So you can see on my trade zero, you can see I have IBIO in the middle of the list there. And if I sort by IBIO, you can see those are my IBIO trades, and I took a loss there, and as well on my thinkorswim. So I trade this both ways on the short side and long side, and both I took a healthy loss on after hours. And this is where you want to get into not trading like this, because typically what I'm looking for is a pattern to set up, and I'm usually, you know, a sniper mentality of just taking one shot and then taking a profit. So here you can see I'm just like going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Each time it kind of consolidates, and I'm thinking it breaks out or breaks down. So it's not the way to trade, and I don't want to encourage anyone to trade like this. This is how I've broken accounts before, and I have to kind of gotta put this in the back of my brain. But definitely it's a eye waker, and I had to take a big loss today, and it is something I have to kind of realize again, and to make sure that I address this issue before it gets out of hand. But yeah, I did take in and out here a couple times on the long side, and then I took a couple times on the short side on my trade zero account, as you can see on my other broker. And definitely I think I took all in all probably a $400 loss on this on IBIO alone. So definitely not a way to trade here. No setups. Next trade was on BCRX. So BCRX, so this was a decent trade. As I mentioned in my last recap video on my YouTube account, mentioned a descending triangle. This was a decent descending triangle. It just didn't break down to fully complete the breakdown. So you can see 251, 251s, 251s, 251. It was holding it pretty well, and VWAP is just right underneath that 249, 250 area. So it was holding. I saw a fail flag here, so you can see when you connect these two lines, there was a breakout of that line right here and didn't go anywhere. So that got me kind of a little bit too confident. So when it went, I sized in a bit there. It bounced off 251 again. Had another high low, and I scaled in again, and then that's where I scaled in too much, and I should have just taken it off a lot earlier when 251 didn't break at this moment here. So I took it off a little bit later, and that cost me a bigger loss than I anticipated, just because I was looking for a wash of that 241 break to the hourly chart, which was around 1220 at that time. So all in all, I think this wasn't a too bad trade, and this was part of my strategy, just that I didn't take my loss a little bit sooner, and could have minimized it there. But yeah, that was a $362 loss. I'm okay with taking this loss, and not to worry about this. My next trade was on PIXY, or maybe I can talk about my my better trades. So I was actually up for the first half of the day on LEDS. So LEDS, let me pull up my trade zero chart. Might be a little easier. So LEDS. So LEDS, let me zoom in. So LEDS had a really nice trigger. There was two triggers here that happened. Let me zoom a little farther. So there was one spot here I was watching. I missed it. So that was an inverted cup and handle. Washed down on that cup and handle and it halted down. But what I saw here was I think it was a 5-minute reversal. So you can see a little inverted cup handle. I took a short there. I think it halted down as well here. And then I covered at the 880 area, 890s, low 90s. And then I covered the rest here. And then I let it kind of trail, squeeze again. And there was an opportunity around here. There was a fail flag and then another reversal on the 5-minute EMA. So I went ahead and short here again, and this time it halted here again, and I covered, and then I reshorted here for the flag break lower, and I covered here. So it was a really good trade here on LEDS. I was actually up 450 or so on LEDS on these highlighted trades here. So these are my LEDS trades. So I was up around 400 or so, 300, and decent win on LEDS. I didn't trade on the long side, but it was on the short side, and that was the early part of the morning. And my other trade that was a win was SSY. So this was also a short trade. You can see my short here on my trade 0. So it was a nice inverted cup and handle after it double top on higher days there. So little cup and then little handle, it break. I took that short and cover. So these are the trade, it's part of my strategies. And if I take a loss for these, I'm fine with that. But here on my other big loss, you can see my highlighted losses here is pretty much on PIXY. I took maybe 7 loss and I won maybe 1 time on it. So another one where I would ask people to avoid, to not trade like this, definitely was my old habit where I wasn't a profitable trader, and I definitely need to remove this. And it might be because I'm on this new broker. When I'm borrowing shares, it's a little bit more costly, and I feel I might be obligated to use them. So it might be forcing me a little bit in a way. But I feel like I tend to trade a lot worse with the second broker here. So, but I'm not gonna try to cause blame on that. But definitely, it's still my fault that I take these trades. But you can see, definitely, I'm going in and out pretty much multiple time here. When typically I just take one trade and out, and then I wait for the setup. So far this is like no setups at all, no inverted cup and handle broken. Normally I just take a trade. If it doesn't go, then I take a stop, right? But you can see in and out multiple times here, in and out multiple times here, and out multiple times here. So definitely trading in a part of emotions and not with a clear head. So you got to make sure you have strong mentality to keep your head straight and to kind of refocus if you're wrong. So definitely I know I'm wrong, and multiple times throughout the day when I'm trading these, I'm asking myself, what am I doing in these trades? Because it's totally not my setups, right? If you look back at my recaps where I have winning days, I don't trade anywhere close to things like this. So it is definitely bad habit that is growing out of me, and hopefully I can, overcome it and not do these again. But today is just a day of don't do's, and hopefully I can kind of look back and learn from this. Although I've overcome this in the past, so hopefully it's something to kind of bring up to kind of newer viewers and newer traders to not trade like this, and to kind of focus on more setups. So this is kind of more like, oh, I think it's gonna go down now. Oh, I think it's gonna go up now, and then you're just trading based on those thoughts, and then like there's totally no setups here. You're just trading in a range, you're getting chop up and down, and you're just stopping in and out, and then just taking $50, $100, $100, and that builds up over time. So all in all, I think it was a bad red day, but it was a I guess needed red day for me to kind of grow quicker, or just to kind of learn from. So all in all, yeah, down 1,164. I think that pretty much brings the week, I think slightly red or break even on the week, but all in all, I'm still up overall, but a tough start to the month so far from this red day, and another red day from earlier this week, but hopefully you can bounce back. And in trading, you have your ups and downs. I think as long as you kind of realize your loss and learn from mistakes, it's your loss is a lesson, and the lesson is your loss is just the price you pay for that lesson. All right, and yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully you learned something from this insight, and definitely try not to trade like this. Oh, I think I didn't show the PIXY chart, but here's my PIXY trade. I think I lost around 600 on this, and totally not the way I normally trade. You can see a lot of ins and outs, ins and outs. Definitely not. So this was all short bias. These are all short positions that I'm going in and out. So definitely no inverted cup and handles that you're seeing breaking down, and it's just in and outs, just guessing, maybe picking the top or trading off emotions at this time. So very don't do's here, and just kind of clear your emotions. And sometimes I need to just kind of stand up, get some fresh air, reset your mind, refocus, and just let the chart play out, and eventually you can see the patterns again. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in and sticking around for this trading recap. If you enjoy this content, be sure to hit the subscribe and like button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye guys.